Hello and welcome to the Build Podcast. I am your host, Reese, and today I am joined with Dimitri. I'm not even going to try and say your last name because I always fuck up people's last names, but I'm here with Dimitri. Runs and owns this amazing facility, the Factory PT, but I'll allow the man himself to introduce yourself. Thank you so much for coming onto the show.
All right, thank you.
I'm going to let you take the floor. Tell us a little bit about yourself and what you've created here.
I'm Dimitri. Last name's Hatziandreou, if you wanted pronunciation.
That's not that bad.
It looks worse than it is. It's Factory PT, so we're a personal training studio, and we focus a lot on coaching. We do group classes, gym access, that's all kind of included in a package. And normal people. We don't do anything like superstars, just like normal people trying to get into training.
Yeah. General population.
General pop, yeah.
Right. People that aren't wanting to become an Olympic athlete or a bodybuilder, but just people that are just, I guess you could say, quote unquote, normal people that have full-time jobs, families, right? Other commitments and priorities in their life, and they're wanting to be able to either get started in their fitness journey or reconnect with maybe they were a lot fitter X months, years ago. They're wanting to get back to that and to be able to improve their health and well-being. Yeah, right? So,
exactly.
And I think that was one of the things that personally for me when I was getting into personal training, you know, as for yourself, we're both bodybuilders at the heart, right? Yeah. We want to be able to just service bodybuilders. We want to be able just to, I don't know if this is you, but this was definitely me. I was like, I want to be able to train bodybuilders. But then as I started to get myself a little bit more experience within the personal training industry or within the fitness industry, I actually began to realize I don't want to train people like me.
Yeah, you know why? Because they're all obsessed with themselves. Yeah. And I'm a bodybuilder, I'm obsessed with myself. Yeah. So there's too much together.
Yeah. And it's very interesting when we train these, you know, quote unquote normal people. They are from different walks of life. They have different values. They have different perspectives on life. And even what I've come to realize, I learn a lot about myself from having the interactions I have with my clients. I'm sure you would as well. And, you know, I find a lot more personal satisfaction, I guess you could say, when you are helping someone that has no clue what they have to be doing or where they should be spending their efforts and their energy. And it's like they've chosen you, they've outsourced the problem that they're wanting to fix in you, and you help them and they love you. You have their trust, right? And I guess that sort of leads me into now the first question. Is like, what made you want to become a personal trainer or a coach?
Ooh, that's a good question. Well, I finished school and then I loved training, obviously. I was training all through high school.
Yeah. How old were you when you started training?
Maybe 13, 14.
13? Yeah. So early?
Yeah, very early.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was into it.
Yeah.
And then pretty much I wanted to be a dietitian at uni.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Why dietitian? Because I like the health, fitness goes together. And then what happened, so I said, I get my PT certs on the side while I do uni and do some PT. My mum actually pushed it. I think she was worried after school that I was just gonna bum around. She's like, you gotta do something. And So went into that. And then I kind of really loved PT. Yeah. And I'd go to uni and I'm like, there's like a fat lecturer telling us about food. And this was and then I thought about it and I said, I'm really getting a lot of satisfaction with what I'm doing. Mm-hmm. And then I'm like, can I go further with this? Is there a career path? I'm like, yeah, there is. So I decided to stop uni halfway through. Yeah. And I just kept going with it. And then, now we're here.
Now you're here.
Yeah.
So, if you don't mind asking, how old are you?
26.
26, okay. I turned 28 this year, so we're pretty much, roughly around the same age. And how old were you when you realized, the uni, I guess path wasn't for you? You were like 21, 22?
19, end of
19.
Yeah,
Are you?
20, 19, 20.
Yeah. It's very, very interesting that you say that you had lecturers talking about nutrition, about the topics of, well, I guess health and well-being, and obviously the way that they look and the way that you can obviously see who they are as a person.
Yeah.
It's not what they are.
Wait, this chick,
Teach, right?
I remember a clear, this very influenced my thought about it. There was a teacher, a lecturer, and she did the first, you do the first lecture, it's like an intro, and she talks about their background or whatever. She's like, yeah, I'm fat because of my genetics. She said it's because of my genetics and because of some other bullshit.
Yeah.
That's not why you're fat. That's not, you could need a degree to know why you're fat.
Excuses.
Yeah, it's like, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
Yeah,
It's like
the victim mentality. It's not me, it's every other potential reason out there in the world, but it's not me. It sure isn't me.
He's teaching people. There's all these dietitians out there my age. If any dietitian is 26, they think that genetics makes you fat.
Yeah.
So maybe you should not go to them. No, no, just kidding. They're good. But you know what I mean?
I definitely know what you mean.
Yeah.
Well, I guess, this is a good question to be able to ask, someone that is a health professional, right? Do you base your respect and trust in someone from what their body composition is?
Oh, it depends what they're preaching.
Depends what they're preaching?
Yeah, because if you're listen, I've got a lot of clients that are struggling with their weight still.
Yeah.
But they're great fathers.
Yeah.
And I'm not a father, so I respect them as a father.
Yeah.
I respect them as a businessman, or I respect them with whatever else they're good at. Because if I'm the expert in this industry, they're the expert in another industry, if they're able to pay for PT. So I respect them as a person.
Yeah.
But if someone is a trainer, let's go put the personal trainer, and they're overweight, and they're they're preaching eating a certain way and doing so, and they're not a role model to it, then I don't respect them.
Yeah.
In their profession.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm going to speak nicely to them, obviously.
I definitely know what you mean from that. And, when we do interact with different people that, not maybe, but they're definitely not where they want to be in terms of, their fitness or maybe how much their body fat is, right? But if they're obviously consciously doing something about it, then definitely we respect them as a person. But because I've been through this, ever since I started in the fitness industry, in the supplement industry, when there would be people that genuinely you can tell that they don't live and breathe what they are, either they're trying to sell or what they're trying to teach, and you instantly just think, you're like, why are you doing this?
It's just a job.
Yeah, just a job, right? So, it's actually quite admirable that you realize at quite a young age, 19, that you were like, okay, personal training is what I actually prefer.
Yeah.
Because it's something that a lot of people don't actually make that realization, because we have either, our parents, our friends around us, or what general society is doing, these expectations that are building obviously on us, and we feel as if we need to be doing what everyone else is doing.
Yeah.
No, definitely. So I guess now you've been a PT for 6-7 years.
Yeah.
What would you find is the most rewarding thing that you, as a personal trainer, as a coach?
It's changed so much.
Changed so much?
Yeah. The first was, as a coach, just those little, it's not about there used to be the thank yous, and what was cool of PT, I guess this is when I'm early days.
Yeah.
The thank yous were cool. They'd say, thank you for changing my life, or something like
Yeah.
that. That would be awesome. Or at Christmas, you'd get all these presents. I had 40 clients or 50 clients towards the end, and I would get 50 presents.
Yeah.
Yeah, except for my sister. No. She'd give me an actual Christmas one. So that was really cool. These people, they really like what I'm doing. They appreciate it and stuff.
Yeah.
But now it's I realize as I go along, it had nothing to really do with me. I thought it was me. It's more I just gave them the tool, but if the person wants to do it, they're going to do it.
Yeah.
If they don't want to do it, they're not going to do it. And you see it with clients that start, a lot of people come and they're like, I've lost 10 kilos already. They might have 40 kilos, something silly, right? A large amount. but they're doing things already. They just need a bit extra guidance. And then there's people who are like, my wife made me come, or those like they're never gonna lose weight because they don't want to do it.
Their why is completely not where it should be.
Their why, that's not their why, and also their values aren't aligned with the goal. So I think that's big. So now it's gonna sound weird, finding out what they actually want based on their values, and then seeing if I can help them. Sometimes their values are like, oh, my kids are my values, and I want to be able to play with my kids. Right? How do you play with the kids? Do you need to lose? You probably, like, if I'm looking at him and you're looking at his, like, looking at a bioscan, looking at his body fat percentage or whatever, and then he's got to lose 30 kilos because that's what's healthy.
Yeah.
But he probably only needs 10 to be able to play with his kids. He's going to get to 10, and then he's going to get stuck there because he doesn't want any more. So just making them aware what they want and then showing them, like, that's more rewarding now.
Yeah.
It's not always like me hounding them to get what I think they should achieve.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I like when I think that's something I can control more. Not how far they go, but the direction, because it's based on their values.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Hey guys, just quickly, I hope you are enjoying the podcast. It would mean a lot to me if you could make sure to like, follow, subscribe on both Spotify and YouTube, or wherever you're viewing this podcast currently. It really does mean a lot, and it will help to grow the podcast so I can bring out more content, more podcasts, and invite more guests like you are listening to right now.
With a lot of people, with anything, it's people, well, I think one, don't understand their why. Why am I doing this? Or even what makes me happy? And then that ties into, what do you value? What is important to you? What do you want to be able to be? Who do you want to be?
Yeah.
Right? And, I get people to do this, whether they're my clients or they're just people I'm just helping out. It's a bit corny, but I say to them, I'm like, okay, close your eyes, right? They're like, you gonna touch me?
My eyes now?
No, I was just saying.
Yeah.
I tell people, I'm like, close your eyes, right? And I want you to take your time, and I want you to picture and envision what the best version of yourself looks like. What does that look like, right? And I say, take your time, right? You can be as descriptive as you want to be. You could be on a beach. You could be living in Dubai.
It's like
right?
the full lifestyle, it's everything.
Exactly, right? Because that allows you to be able to actually just subconsciously think, what is it that you value? Whether it's physically, whether it's a certain lifestyle, right? And then after they've said, yep, I can see it, I'm like, okay, cool. That's the outcome. That's what you want to be able to achieve. We're here right now. What do we need to be doing in the meantime or the journey to be able to get that outcome, right? Because if we're too fixated on the outcome, we get overwhelmed. We get like too fixated and just realize that, this is going to take forever. But it's like, okay, well, if we can just start now, we can just make small changes to your schedule and your routine. Slowly, you'll start working towards it, and it takes off that unnecessary pressure from people. And yeah, exactly right. Some people's like, I have to lose 30 kilos. It's like, no, you don't really need to, but let's just get started. Let's maybe lose your first 5 kilos. You feel great? Let's keep going, right? So yeah, it's good to see and interesting to see how what initially we thought was rewarding to then now what is, right?
And it changes. And I think maybe it's more of a realistic thing as well, because like people want different things. Because then if everyone wanted the same thing as me, they would be talking and reading the same things and having the same habits. So so it's cool to kind of, and you know what? It's less of a battle.
Yeah.
The more you do it, you're just kind of like, this again, you know? But then when you kind of, you get them excited about the small things, like they do that like little habit or whatever, it's leading in the right direction. Like that feels great.
Yeah.
They get the wins, good on ya.
Exactly.
Like,
Yeah. What would you say is one of the biggest mistakes people make when they're just becoming a personal trainer? What would you think is the biggest mistake a lot of new PTs make?
I think if you're talking about for the result of the client, it's coaching, I think, and like helping them set correct goals. So if they come in, don't tell them the goal, get them to tell you the goal, and just ask the right questions to get the goal out of them. I think that's results-wise. And then there's depends, like business-wise, there's so many things that you could fuck up. So, so it just depends. It could be maybe you should learn about people, I'd say.
Yeah.
If you don't learn about people, everyone's upskilling their training, but you know nothing of people. How are you going to retain your clients?
That is so interesting that you say that, because that is so true.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
It's it's a joke.
Yeah.
There's so many people, they're watching all the videos, TikTok, learning all these exercises, and they might have studied all these things, but you can't hold a conversation for 30 minutes.
Yeah.
It's a 30-minute session, so it's gonna be, oh, yep, okay. You could smash them so many times, but like you said, they're not bodybuilders.
Exactly. Yeah.
You're gonna be sitting at the chest press, they're gonna be puffed, you're gonna be eye contact with them. You're gonna have something to say, bro.
Yeah. It's 6 a.m. in the morning.
Yeah.
It's you're the energy. You need to learn how to be able to understand someone, because understandably, if people are coming in to you 6, 7 a.m. in the morning and their passion isn't training, there's a reason why they're here with you, right? And it's so interesting that you say that there are all these new coaches that are trying to coach coaches, new courses. There's so much content out there, too much content.
Yeah.
These are the things that you need to be doing, yada, yada, yada. But at the end of the day, personal training stems at being able to build those personal relationships. And yeah, definitely learning how to be able to communicate with people.
I think that's a big thing.
Yeah. For me, I work on the gym floor, and whenever or even if I'm at another gym and I like to observe. I don't judge, I observe. Right, I people watch.
You watch the trainers?
Yeah, you watch the trainers.
Of course
right?
I do, yeah, I do.
And you watch them, and the biggest one, obviously, when they're on their phone, right? I don't know about you, but whenever I see hands in their pockets, it just gives off the body language that they don't want to be here.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
You know what I mean? Okay, well, if you don't want to be here, go do another job.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or even when they are training a client, they're not really physically there with them in the set. You know what I mean? That doesn't mean they need to be grabbing them and holding on to them, but actually showing them and being close to them and in guiding them through that set. Because again, at the end of the day, that's what you're there for, right? But yeah, what would you say is the biggest business mistake PTs make? Because I don't know about you, but when I did my certification, they don't teach you anything about how to build a business and personal training. If you are working for yourself, it's training people is the fun part. That's the easy part.
Yeah.
I get to catch up with your friends, right?
Yeah.
But it's the building a business part. So what would you say is the biggest mistake PTs make business-wise?
Not learning sales.
Not learning sales.
And retention. Because there's if I'm a one-on-one trainer and I'm only worried about myself, that's all you really need to do. You need to learn how to sell. You should have the skill already. I don't have to talk about the skill of the training. Obviously, the more hours you do, that gets refined. Even your conversation is going to get refined. Mm-hmm. And then retention. What are you doing for retention? You know what I mean? So there's so many things. So maybe you should have some sort of client performance where you see how they're tracking and how was the conversation, and everything should be recorded, and then push them for events, create some sort of community. Even trainers that work for only themselves and there's only one dude, there should be community stuff. There should be challenges. There should be events that you run, and then you create a community of people. Yeah. For me, the other thing is finding and mentoring trainers as well, which finding is, I can still get better because every single trainer I've found has been a referral. So I never, every single one that's here has been found through another trainer or a client or something like that, and then mentoring them. So teaching them how to get better and improving them, and they're probably the two biggest things.
Yeah.
everything else is like, you could suck at everything else, you'd do all right.
Yeah. It's the sales part, right? The sales and the retention. It's not easy, but again, that leads back to what we were saying in the beginning. You know, it's if you're a fat slob, or maybe not a fat slob, but you're someone that trains, but they don't take the actual health and well-being aspects of training behind it. I find those people just sizzle out really quickly, because at the end of the day, you can only really sell something. Well, I don't know. This is if you're the same, I think you would be the same. But you can only really sell a product or service really well if you truly believe in it.
Yeah.
And if you don't really truly believe in the benefits of training and nutrition, it's like, well, how are you going to be able to pretty much communicate with this potential client that they're dumb if they don't sign up?
Yeah.
Right? It's like, you're not going to sign up?
Yeah.
You weirdo. What do you mean?
Because even if you didn't have any skills with the sales, if you're passionate about it and you believe in it, they can feel it.
They can feel it.
What's it? You heard of Zig Ziglar?
Zig Ziglar, no.
Yeah, he was like an old sales. You would have heard about him. So he was an old sales guy. It's like there was Jim Rohn motivation, and Zig Ziglar was a motivational guy. But he originally was like those first sales videos.
Okay.
Sounded like heaps Southerner. Sounded like the freaking like a Looney Tunes character, the turkey. Like it's so but because of that, I always remember
distinct.
Very distinct. Yeah. But there was a sales thing I was listening to just driving. I always remember it. He's like, some guy sold kitchenware, so knives and things like that. And he wasn't hitting his quota of sales, and he asked him for help. And then he's like, he's in his house, and he goes, where is the kitchenware that you sell? He goes, I don't use it. He goes, you're not using the product that you're selling. How are you going to sell it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so he got him to use the product, and he's like, this is good because of this and this, whatever the thing is. You have that extra little edge. Even my trainers, when they come, they've got to do a client experience. Mm-hmm. They got to come in, they got to scan, they got to set goals, do the classes, weigh in every week, track their food. They do all these things. So then even if I've got someone, I've signed them up and then they're with the trainer sells themselves on the floor as well. First thing, they look the part, they've done all the things. So then that's the other part of selling. It's I'm gonna sell you this idea of tracking your food, or sell you this idea of tracking your steps, or going for a walk. This is all sales, right?
Yeah.
So you've got to be it. You've got to do it, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So I guess tell me a little bit now more about your gym. What made you want to step, not out of personal training, but now you've evolved into a gym owner? What made you want to be able to create your own environment?
Ooh. I started with the training, and then I was in a PT studio.
Yeah. So you were at what studio?
At Vision. At Cogra.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was same kind of thing. There were a bit more older women. That was their target market. Mm-hmm. But yeah, same kind of thing. Just that environment I really enjoyed. And then you progress through things. The only thing next to do after, when you're a trainer for a while, is you manage or you open one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or you chose to manage.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, no, not
yeah,
manage.
other way around.
The owner. Yeah, you became.
I thought you were being joking.
No, I just got
well, I guess you manage still.
Definitely. So you decided to become the owner. And what year did you open?
2020.
2020. Mm-hmm. So was there a lot of doubts? What was going through your mind when not just creating and starting your own gym, which obviously has all of its costs, its upfront capital, rent, right, overheads, but especially during COVID? What was your mindset?
COVID was the trigger, I reckon.
COVID was the trigger?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what happened was two things. So first thing, this building was my dad's, right?
Yeah.
And it used to be a tannery. So they used to do kangaroo skins,
Oh,
sheep skins.
okay. Yeah,
Looks pretty nice. You wouldn't have guessed today. So it would have been, there was all kangaroo skins around.
Yeah.
So pretty much what happened, that industry was kind of going to an end, and then COVID sped that up because there was no tourism.
Right.
So that was the first thing. So then I was okay, that's an issue in itself. And then at the same time, I was training, I had 50 clients at the time. I think COVID, I lost 10. So I had 40 clients.
Oh, yeah.
And then my brother-in-law, Peter, was also training those clients from the studio in my backyard at home. So we were kind of running the show there. We kind of did at the studio as well. He was the manager there.
Yeah.
And then what happened was my dad's he's older. I'm old. It was older.
Yeah.
He's I gotta do all this stuff again. And then I'm working like crazy, just pumping these hours in my backyard. I remember I walked in and I was just yeah, and I threw had still used my iPad. I was still tracking the iPad in my backyard, and I threw it up, and I'm all amped, and it's 9 p.m. I think because I did my longest block ever. I did 8.5 or 9 hours, no rest.
Back-to-back
I was really
clients.
proud of myself.
Yeah.
Because that was my measure of my dick. It was how many hours I did. Yeah.
Every PT is I'm like that as well.
Yeah, how many hours you doing?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was very impressed with myself.
Yeah.
And then my dad liked the idea. He's oh, maybe you should do it here. I always wanted to do it. I thought I didn't know if it was going to be a vision, but I always knew I wanted to do it. I thought it was going to be another year or two, to be honest. And then I was a bit oh, that's a bit scary. But I was very comfortable. That last year was so comfortable. I was same thing. Do a comp, train clients, beach middle of the day, mad lifestyle. But I feel needed something to grow. Yeah. And I would always just set hard fitness goals or set savings goals. But you need a bit more pressure. So it was good.
Yeah.
And then then the idea came about. And I'm all right, what should I do? And then you kind of just those guys, my old boss was great, the manager. They helped me so much.
Yeah,
they said, all right, this is the guy for equipment. This is how you do this. And then I was when you're in a franchise like that, they kind of prime you to open one. So they send you to things.
Your own vision?
Yeah, your own vision.
Yeah.
So they send you to future owners. They send you to a management training.
Oh, that's great.
They send all the trainers to you're learning all this stuff. So because I was learning all that stuff and I don't know, I got that kind of brain. Maybe it's just because that's stuff I'm passionate about. If I'm really interested in something, I will photographically memorize it. Especially if someone says something and it resonates with me, I remember it I could cheat in a test so easy if it had something to do with personal training. And someone told me, just bang, remember, and I'll just write it down.
Yeah.
So because I remembered a lot of the stuff, I kind of just used that, and I'm all right, what do I want as well? And I kind of put it together.
Yeah.
Well, I thought I did. You come up with a plan, you're oh yeah, it's gonna go, and it was doing nothing to plan at all.
Nothing, yeah.
Yeah. So, but at the time, that plan created comfort and gave me extreme confidence, which people could feel, and then trainers. Other trainers that I found could feel it, and they kind of just went with me blindly as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Wow. That's great.
Yeah, it's cool.
What has been the biggest, I guess, obstacle with now going from being just primarily a PT to now a gym owner?
Ooh. I think it's just like a trainer can get frustrated with the client when they keep making the same mistakes or haven't learned something. A trainer who's gone to a manager or owner can have frustration with the trainer who's learning their things.
Right.
It's we forget that we were shit.
Yeah.
And I think that's the same with as a advice that's another good advice for a trainer is you didn't always know how to do that with your food and your training. You might have not always been that tough.
Yeah.
You forget, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's that, and then I had to kind of be all right, this trainer's not doing it this way, the way that I want it to be. But then I didn't really do it very well.
Yeah.
You know? How long did that take me? Oh, that took me 3 years,
Yeah.
4 years.
Yeah.
And then,
as one of my friends says, every winner was once a beginner,
yeah.
right? Every master was once a disaster.
Yeah. So it's patience,
Yeah. I could definitely see that frustration when because obviously I feel it with my clients. I'm oh, nothing's really changed this week. What's your diet been like? Oh, you've still been going out to eat. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, you haven't been coming to the gym consistently just when we're training together. Oh, okay. That's, yeah.
Yeah,
So,
what do you think?
yeah.
There's that, but you know what? I've realized, and it's you forget all the stuff that we preach about the coaching and all the things that we say to do. You gotta coach the coaches.
You gotta coach
the
coaches.
So that's cool. And there's different styles. So if I've got someone who's similar to me, they're very easy to coach. Just tell them, and they'll follow it. or tell them they can't do it and they'll do it, you
Yeah.
know? But then there's like, there's softer approaches and there's people who are like a bit more cautious and you got to really explain things and like that's all comes into play.
Yeah.
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 Which am I a master of? No.
No, well,
Definitely not. Yeah.
we're never ever going to be perfect,
Yeah.
but we're always having that mindset of we can always learn, we can always be better.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So now, I guess, moving away from, career, personal training, I want to talk about your training. I want to talk about, what do you do? What does your current training split look like at the moment?
I just read a new one actually.
Oh, you wrote a new one?
Yeah.
please
Every
do
couple
tell.
months I change it.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
for fun.
Yeah.
So what I do, Sunday I do chest.
Okay.
Monday is a back. Then I do arms on Tuesday. Oh no, Sunday's chest and front and side delts. So it's all about push.
Yep.
Yeah.
On Sunday.
Yeah, and Tuesday's
Yeah.
back. Maybe Monday's back, Tuesday's arms.
Yep.
Did today. Because I did
Yeah,
a podcast
I can tell.
Of course. Yeah. Then Wednesday's just one, I just do one leg day again now. But I smash it. Like,
Yeah, you don't need it.
yeah, I was doing like quads and hammies. So now I just do like that
Just a
together.
full lower body
yeah,
day. Yep.
Which is fun. And then Thursday I do traps, rear delts, and neck.
Okay.
Yeah, because my neck is long, so I gotta like make it look proportionate. Yeah.
Don't skip neck day.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do neck raises.
Yeah.
It's funny. We should do that.
It's
in the video.
becoming, yeah, we should.
Yeah.
It's actually becoming a lot more common.
Yeah.
People training neck. I've been
Well, you
seeing
know
that.
what? I had neck pain and now it's gone.
It's gone.
So I reckon it's a good idea to train your neck. If you're doing like shrugs work your neck a bit, I guess.
Yeah.
But for me, I was always cracking my neck and I still get a bit tight here. But then I'm like, I'm gonna train it directly now. So I'm gonna start training the side as
Yeah.
well. Like I'm gonna just research it so I don't hurt
Yeah.
myself. And then what else do I do?
That's Thursday.
That's Thursday, Friday's chest and back.
Friday's just about.
Yeah. And then Saturday, I like literally just do like a wild card day.
Wildcard day.
So it could be just say I feel like doing some deadlifts and some squats again, I'll do that.
Yeah.
Or I'll do cardio, or I'll do like whatever. Go to a class.
Yeah.
You know, if I want to sleep, I'll rest.
Yeah.
Whatever happens.
Yeah. So, but almost training every single day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you feel as if that has worked for you really well? Have you always just trained every day and just taken a rest day whenever you need it, or?
Yeah.
Has it always been like that?
No,
or?
sometimes it's 5, and then it's more like when I'm prepping, it'll be 5 or 6, more structured, and then
Yeah.
I'll make sure that's always a rest day.
Yeah.
But like because I'm hitting quite smaller muscles, like there's an arm day, and then the rear delts and traps and neck is like, my nervous system isn't really taxed.
Yeah.
So like I can do that and then I can go hit something the next day. It's not gonna be, it's just a bit sore, you know?
Yeah.
Compared to like chest, back, quads, chest to back, shoulders.
Yeah.
Like then hamstrings, you're destroyed.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
You
definitely.
know, like it's a different feeling.
Yeah. It's just now I feel there's been this massive shift on how a lot of people approach their training. What is quote unquote optimal?
Yeah.
Right. I think optimal is a word that's thrown around so much now. And, for some people, they think that they need to be training just 5 days a week. You need your rest days. But then you have people that come along like yourself and Sam Sulik.
Yeah.
Right? And, Sam is one to say, or if you're doing the smaller muscle groups, it's giving your other bigger muscle groups time to rest.
Yeah.
So
I only watch him from memes.
you only
Yeah, but he's very funny, yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, I know a lot of guys respect what he says, like younger guys.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe the rules change. But not really.
Not really,
I'm
right?
like a natural dude and I just hit it hard.
Yeah.
Just rest when you're tired.
Yeah.
Sleep's important.
Sleep is important,
Yeah.
right? What do you think is one of the biggest mistakes a lot of newbie lifters make? So like newbie lifters maybe within their first year to 3-4 years of training.
There's two, they're like the opposite things.
Yeah.
I think one is they might start loading heaps of weight too much and they haven't like taught the technique.
Yeah.
I think that's one. But then the other is like, now that people know what good technique is, they're afraid to lift with bad technique.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Like safely.
Safely.
There's
yeah.
safer. Like I remember when when I was young and I trained, like you'd pick up stupid weight and swing a bit. Like I feel that it did something for me. which
Yeah.
I can't really explain it.
Yeah.
Like, so maybe this isn't good advice for newbie lifters, but you know what I'm talking about.
I know
Don't be
what you mean.
afraid. You know, like I remember I was younger, like I did stupid shit, I hurt my back or stuff like that. I think everything is like a learning process. Just don't do something you've never done before heavy or something like that.
Yeah.
But don't be afraid. If there's a time
Yeah.
to figure it out, it's when you're young. Is that bad advice? It sounds like horrible advice.
It's
but
not,
that's what
honestly.
I did. That's what I did. Like,
Yeah, honestly,
swing it
yeah.
around a bit. It's not gonna like. It's just like curls and stuff. Don't go do some stupid deadlifts you've never done them or something.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, it's okay to do a little cheat curl here and there, or to swing on a chin up.
Yeah.
You're gonna get a little bit extra.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you know, is there such thing as perfect form? Right? No.
Yeah,
right?
exactly, yeah.
Perfect form is going to change between individual to individual, right?
Yeah.
How you do an exercise could be completely different to me just because of the way that we develop that mind-muscle connection.
Yeah.
Right? So, and especially like, you know, I mean, there are some great examples of bodybuilders over the time. Like, I think one of the biggest, you know, ones is you look at the bodybuilders from like the 90s, early 2000s, Ronnie Coleman,
Yeah.
right? Branch Warren.
Yeah. Branch Warren's big. Yeah. I was trying to think of the name. Branch Warren. Yeah.
You
It's like
know,
swinging and shit.
Yeah, like obviously.
His head's all
best-
vascular.
Yeah.
Like more than his delt,
Yeah.
it's his head. It's
Yeah.
like it's 3 delts just here, like a dragon.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's sick. Yeah.
But you know, you have people like that, you know, the best of the in bodybuilding of their time. And obviously, you know, Ronnie Coleman, arguably the best bodybuilder of all time. But you watch their style of training. It's not going to be the same as everyone else, and they may do things that 99% of people wouldn't do in terms of the weight that they use and the form that they do. The form can be very, very questionable. But in saying that, you know, you can still build muscle in spite of bad form.
Yeah. And you know what's funny about that? Isn't it funny how the trends now, like the knees over toes, 'cause
Yeah.
like there's things that they taught which now they're kind of like unteaching. Like they're like, yeah, don't let your knees go too far over your toes. Now it's like they're exaggerating. Like I'm
Yeah.
taught this, you know.
I can see you've got the wedges.
Yeah, all that. Yeah, that's the guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've got like I'm into it.
Yeah.
But
You tore your ACL?
I tore my ACL. I never had surgery.
Yeah.
I do CC squats every leg workout.
Yeah.
You know, like because back then I was like looking into like how to strengthen it. I just never ended up getting surgery. It wasn't like that. But like there's things and like what's the one where they arch their back? Is it called a J curl?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's like like there's things. Obviously you have to slowly progress. But then like you see Tom Platz. I would never try this when he does the hack squat with his toes like that.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
But like if that was my 100% goal and I wanted to do it, I could slowly progress over years.
You could replicate it.
I can get there.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool. So it's just for a purpose. It depends what the purpose of the exercise is, rather
The
than
why.
the why. Yeah.
Always.
What are you
always
doing
going
it
back
for?
to
Why
that.
are you training your neck, bro? Like
Yeah.
there's a reason. Yeah. It's really long. I gotta fill it out. But yeah, there's a
Yeah, no, definitely. You know, on one side of things, you have people that go hard too quickly. I definitely was one of those individuals when I started training when I was, 16, the ego, I get it.
yeah.
We've all been there, right?
Yeah.
But like you said, the time to be able to make those mistakes is when you're younger, when you are earlier into your training career or just younger in general. But then now there's just too much information out there. There's only like really, for me, select few individuals that I will consistently watch their content because they just stem off the basics
Yeah.
and they just preach about getting better at
Yeah.
the basics. But then you'll see like the younger generation. I don't know, do you have younger kids that train in here?
Yeah, like really young.
Like really young, right? But especially in the commercial gyms, you'll see the younger kids train and they're just replicating all of these optimal, quote unquote,
Yeah.
optimal exercises. And it's like, man, just train hard.
I hate
Just-
it. I
just
hate it
sometimes
when they're
just
doing the same thing. Everyone's doing the same cable. I did it like 2 days ago. Like the same
Yeah.
cable lateral raise. No one's going too high anymore. We're doing traps.
Yeah, it's not optimal.
You want to look exactly the same as everyone else? Like everyone wants to
Yeah.
look exactly the same. They want the same life and they post the same things. It's
Yeah.
part of that issue is everyone's training the same way.
Yeah.
Even when you look at like the old, like a Pumping Iron documentary.
Yeah.
They all had like one feature that was like really like accentuated. Like if it was like
standout.
abs or like Arnold's chest or whatever it
Yeah.
was, like Tom Platt's legs, like
Yeah.
whatever you like, that's cool.
Yeah.
How that would be, imagine watching that like live. You're like, oh, look at this guy's chest. He's got the arms. Like
Yeah.
rather than, oh, okay, they're really big, but he's better.
Yeah.
They're all just perfectly symmetrical and like this and like this, which I'll be like that one day. But you know what I mean?
I definitely know what you mean.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
like everyone's got like similar goals. Everyone wants the same car. Like, well, these guys, I don't know what
Yeah.
girls want, but like that's a bit shit.
Yeah. Well, it stems down to a lot of people just are worried about doing things different
Yeah.
and more too worried about what other people are thinking. And, you know, I think the gym is one of the best places to be able to debunk that and to be able to be like, no, I'm going to do things that are challenging. I'm going to do things that are a little bit different. And I'm not going to care what anyone else is going to think. I'm going to learn about myself
Yeah.
at the end of the day, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Like I said this to someone when I did my last comp.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, oh, like, I love just like, I want to wear my like loose t-shirt and my denim Converse and like not give a fuck. And I'm walking around. Like, I like that feeling. Like I'm walking and I
Yeah.
feel like I'm different.
Yeah.
But then again, as I say that sounds like a massive bodybuilder stereotype. But I'm being myself.
Yeah,
I'm being
exactly,
myself, yeah.
exactly. So yeah, now on the topic of bodybuilding. So the program that you're following right now is a little bit looser. You're just enjoying it right
just
now,
having fun
right?
with it, yeah.
Working on maybe areas that you're wanting to improve, right? But you're not following like a rigid program.
Yeah.
You need to be hitting numbers, right?
Well, I'm tracking it, so I wrote it down.
Yeah.
So it's what I did, my last one, it was just like a bit more supersets.
Yeah.
Because I was in the gym for really long after my class, like 2 hours. I'm like, this is like, it's not practical.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, let's see if I can condense it. So I'm like, I want to get the same sets of reps or even like more intensity, just get in and out there a bit quicker. So I'm like, sometimes it's an hour and a half still.
Yeah.
But I got it in like an hour and I feel like I'm not rushing it. I feel still strong on it.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, wait a minute. I'll like just push it out another half an hour, whatever. So then I just kind of expanded that. So I just put a couple more supersets and then I'll superset the same muscle group. Yeah, so like I'll do two, like if I do like the arm day, I supersetted biceps and biceps.
Okay. Yeah.
Just
yeah.
different angles, triceps and triceps.
Yeah.
Which is like, I really liked that burn. And
Yeah.
it's just experiment. I feel in the off season, it's good to experiment with things.
Definitely.
Because obviously I'm going to focus on my weak points. I'm going to go through the traps, like or like the silhouette muscles.
Yeah.
I want to kind of get going.
Accentuate them.
Yeah. And this style seems to be working well.
Yeah.
So pretty much expanding from what I've done like the last month, it looked good. So I was just like, oh, let's just roll with it.
Yeah.
See how it goes.
Yeah.
And then that'll be cool because then when I go back to lifting like heavy and resting, it's like another shock again. Yeah.
Yeah. I guess before we go into the bodybuilding side of things, you know, supersets, I love them. I think they're great, but they're not for everyone. You know what I mean? And that's the beauty of training, is being able to experiment, figure out what you do like, what you don't like, because, you know, at the end of the day, when it comes to building muscle, it's not rocket science. It's just pushing your muscles to near failure, sometimes failure.
Yeah.
Sometimes even beyond failure. There's a
Yeah.
time and place for it, right? And the way that you do that, obviously through, you know, form and technique, control, you know, time under tension, but then as well, intensity, right? How do you build that intensity? Well, you can either just do just one exercise. Okay, like you're experimenting 2 exercises. You can just push it more and more to that point of failure or beyond failure.
Yeah.
And it's ultimately finding out what you enjoy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing. You're going to enjoy it, right?
Exactly.
What
yeah.
are you doing now? Just out of
Me?
Yeah.
So I'm doing a very, very simple split at the moment. I'm just doing pretty much a full lower body day, Sunday. Monday will be a pull day because everyone changed chest on Monday.
Yeah,
So
you get all the free,
get all the free back machines. Tuesday is when I'll do like chest, shoulders. I'm taking 2 rest days at the moment, but you know, coming across yourself and other people that train 6 days a week, 7 days a week, I'm like, oh, okay, maybe I need to stop being a bitch and I need to train a
Yeah, but
bit
you know
more.
what though? you're probably hitting it really hard, eh?
Yeah,
So, like, I
yeah.
can understand,
Yeah. Like,
Right.
but it'd be good to try change things up.
Yeah, play
right?
around.
Play around with it. Maybe do smaller muscle groups on what my rest days would normally be. So yeah, Wednesday's a rest day. Thursday will be back and hamstrings, so that's a pretty big day.
Yeah.
Friday is shoulders, a little bit of chest and arms, and then Saturday's another rest day.
Oh, cool.
So I think I can fit
So you
in
pace
a
them
little
out.
bit more. I pace them
Yeah.
out, yeah. But I think maybe I can fit a little bit more in there.
Yeah.
But I guess now this leads into bodybuilding. When did you do your first bodybuilding competition?
I was 19.
19.
Yeah.
Same as me. Same.
Yeah?
So
Oh,
yeah,
cool.
yeah. And what made you want to do bodybuilding? Because it's from the outside in, it's obviously such a bizarre sport. It's becoming more mainstream, definitely,
Yeah.
within the last decade, especially. But what made you want to commit yourself to a bodybuilding competition?
Well, when you're at Vision, they make you set heaps of goals and stuff.
Yeah.
And that was one of my goals.
To do a bodybuilding competition.
Yeah. Well, they kind of pushed me to it because
Yeah.
I looked like it and I trained like that, but I didn't want to do it. I didn't think I was big enough. Mm-hmm. But I did there's categories and things like that. So I was like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
I had the shape. I didn't realize how good the shape was. Like it was very likable by the judges.
Yeah, yeah. Do you have incredible shape?
Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't know at the time. So
Yeah.
I don't know what they're looking for. And did the comp and I really liked it.
Yeah.
I really liked the prep was very hard.
Yeah.
'cause I didn't
How many weeks did you do for your first
I
competition?
can't even remember. Maybe it would have been at least 12.
At least 12.
At least 12. Yeah. I did I cut before that, and then I kind of enjoyed myself for maybe 3 or 4 weeks, and then I prepped proper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you have a coach at the time, or did you do it on your own?
No, just the owner.
The owner of Vision.
Yeah. So he's just just weighed me every week, showed me the posing.
Yeah.
But I did my own programs and just cut my food and kind of just because we do it with the clients. It's
Exactly. Yeah.
So you figure it out.
It's not rocket science.
Yeah, yeah.
At the end of the day,
It
right?
wasn't
You
really
just,
that.
over time, eat a little bit less every
Yeah.
week. Do a little bit more cardio.
Yeah.
Keep your training as much the same you can.
Yeah.
Right. As obviously your energy goes down, but you try and just keep your strength.
Yeah, as long as you're hitting that. But
Yeah.
you fuck up.
Yeah.
So obviously and you look at now doing it so many times, you realize, and I was saying it in the other talk, you need to go through that so you can figure it out.
Definitely.
Yeah, because then you're why can't I just starve myself? You're like, oh, you look shit.
Yeah.
Most of the answers are because you look shit.
Yeah.
But or energy, so I'm like, oh yeah, what if I just ate no carbs 3 days in a row and I did the cardio and you had the workout start, and then you binge eat, and then you get dizzy. I crashed a car because I was too fatigued.
Oh wow.
That's stupid.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
working, but I was still working. I
Yeah.
always work was number one and then comps was two.
Yeah.
You know? And every time you make a mistake, you say, oh, it takes a note. And I had to learn the hardest way. Everything I did was always keep making the same mistake until it's burnt you enough times, and you're all right, stop doing that.
Yeah.
Like an animal, walking into an electric fence,
Yeah.
But now I'm like, oh, I just have to walk. That's cool. I just lift weights hard. I can
Yeah.
eat way more. You could eat more, and then you actually look fuller. All these, and now because I have that contrast of the first prep and the last prep, it's quite easy.
Yeah.
And that sounds funny to say, but
Oh no, definitely. Right.
it's definitely easy now.
Yeah.
Yeah. After you figure it out, and obviously get a bit more size, it is quite easy. Yeah.
Do you think it is quite easy for you because we look at it at a more logical standpoint?
Yeah. Less
Yeah.
emotional. Yeah.
Yeah, less emotional.
Oh, you're I just feel it's a feeling. I guess
Yeah.
that's part of growing up. Maybe just in general.
Yeah.
But if you're tired, you go to work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you come home and you feel like a dick, and I'm not married, but just say you got your wife and she's upset, you're gonna put it aside. Or if you have kids, you're not gonna take it out on the kids. You understand what's happening and you put your emotions aside for a second.
Yeah.
Just it makes sense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. So with doing, body comp preps and things like that, how have you found being a personal trainer as well as doing comp preps?
It's hard sometimes.
Hard?
In the night times.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you're like at like that end of that block, when you were like so fatigued.
Yeah.
But what I used to notice was when I just ate my meal, that's when I was my most fatigued. So I'll try to time it.
Interesting.
Yeah, don't you reckon
Yeah.
you just ate? Because obviously I would feel better, but my mind would go real like, oh, digesting it, like I need to sleep kind of situation. So what I would do is I would like train and eat, and then I'd do my block, and then maybe the block would just have snacks, and then I'd eat my larger meal, like I'd just quickly eat something. Then my larger meal would be before bed.
Okay. Yeah.
That seemed to work well for me.
Yeah.
It's not fasting, but like a couple hours, like nothing too heavy,
Yeah.
I felt okay.
Yeah. What would be one of your favorite meals when doing a bodybuilding
Such a
comp?
bodybuilding thing. I love sweet potato, chicken, and put the baby spinach and pump it with salt.
That's your favorite meal?
That's my favorite. Yeah. But you know what else? I like kangaroo mince.
Kangaroo mince? Yeah.
Kangaroo mince is awesome. And then, but the most recent prep, I was eating whatever I wanted,
Yeah.
Like I was eating like, I liked just before I trained when I'd have Nutri-Grain and protein powder
Yeah.
and put some berries in it. That was cool.
Yeah.
I liked that. What else did I like? Towards the end, I was getting really flat, so I'd wake up and I'd eat a Reese's buttercup, the big buttercup, the big one.
The normal ones.
Yeah, I'd wake up, I'd eat that, eat a banana, and I'd do my meditation, and then I'd go in and I'd train.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you found that works.
It's a good routine, yeah.
Good routine.
Yeah. Now, if I do that now, I try to do it now, I just feel like a fat.
You feel like
I
a
just
fat.
feel like a fat. But like, just you know, you just, and then your body just sucks it in. Yeah.
Yeah. You know,
Yeah.
that's actually such a great example of, you know, when our body is so depleted, you know, we're starving it, right? We're killing our body. When we give it just something that refuels us, just the littlest bit, how our body can just utilize it so quickly. And I think that's one of the main reasons why, you know, bodybuilding is so interesting, because the human body itself is just such an amazing piece of work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I always like to ask, you know, bodybuilders, what's your favorite thing to eat during a competition prep? Because when it comes to bodybuilding, you actually begin to appreciate the littlest of things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like weird seasonings. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You normally wouldn't
You mean like the
use.
Moroccan spice?
Yeah, Moroccan spice. You know, you appreciate the portion sizes that you do have, and for me and a lot of other weirdo bodybuilders out there, we begin to even enjoy foods that we normally wouldn't eat.
Yeah.
Like for me, growing up, I never ate oats ever.
Yeah.
Growing up, but when I did my first bodybuilding competition, I love oats. Cottage cheese,
Yes.
hated it, but then now it's like, oh my god, give me some of that.
Have you mixed cottage cheese with peanut butter before? Like just like that?
Not with peanut butter. I mixed it with avocado actually.
Oh, I've done that.
Yeah.
Put it on like a rice cake or something.
Yeah, put it on a rice cake, or even just have it as like a dip
That's cool. Yeah.
for something.
Yeah.
But I think that's one thing that is just overlooked, you know, with bodybuilding, is because you get to develop that sense of appreciation for just like the littlest of things, especially with food.
How about this? When you prep, did you ever have nightmares, Jake cake or something like that?
No, that wasn't a nightmare. That was real life.
Oh, it actually happened.
I have had those dreams though. When you actually dream that you think it's so real that you actually cheated on your diet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a dream like 3 days ago.
Yeah.
Maybe it was 2 days ago, that I was at a comp
Yeah.
and I couldn't find my trunks and I'm running around. It's a naked dream.
The naked dream.
But it makes sense because when they tan you, you're naked. So like,
Yeah.
tanned me and I'm like, oh, where did my trunks go?
It's so interesting.
Yeah.
Hey, like you could like the biggest perv could just go to a bodybuilding comp and just say, "Yep, I'm a tanning official.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna watch all these
Yeah,
guys."
and they probably do.
Oh yeah,
They probably
definitely.
do.
Yeah.
That's why I kind of, it's good that the girls are doing it. At least girls are watching, you know.
It's cold, I promise.
That's what I always joke about. That's the best.
Do you think that, you know, especially dealing with clients, do you think, or do you feel as if everyone should do at least one bodybuilding competition in their life if they love coming to the gym?
Nah,
No?
no way. No.
No way?
Yeah, I've seen it backfire with people.
Yeah?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. In what way?
Oh, they just like stopped training properly after. Like they
Yeah.
went too hard. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe not forever, but I've seen like I've even like prepped people like the way I used to, like, because obviously the way I used to help people with comps is different to the way I do it now. Now it's like, okay, what do you want to do? There's different categories. So they don't always have to do bodybuilding, and like, you know, they could do like the softer look ones.
Yeah.
But I was very hard on myself,
Yeah.
which obviously like is required. But then like, if I knew that they shouldn't probably do that, I'd probably advise against it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I tell people not to prep. I say you shouldn't prep. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because you hear from some trainers or some coaches, obviously bodybuilding isn't for everyone. It's not something that obviously is healthy, right? But then for me, I don't think everyone should do it, but I think it is something that maybe not even a bodybuilding competition. I think setting a serious goal, you know, whether that be a bodybuilding competition.
Like get to 5% or something.
Yeah.
Like that. I think, let me take that back. I think everyone should get like a shredded pair of abs once in their life.
100%.
Yeah.
That's what I was pretty much
Yeah,
getting to.
100%,
Or
yeah.
even setting in like, oh, it's your, because I actually have a few clients that are turning 30, you know, this year or next year. And I say to them, let's get you in the best shape of your life. Let's put no expectations on it. It doesn't matter how long it takes, right? But this is now like the milestone of you going into your 30s. You're in the best shape of your life, you know what I mean? And at the end of the day, it's like it's teaching someone, they're setting a goal. They have to have that discipline. They have to have that consistency. And to be able to obviously work, doesn't matter what it takes to be able to reach that. But every single guy should at least one point in their life should see their abs.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
But yeah, this is the other thing, because that's like our baseline. We still have abs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Always.
everyone
Yeah.
should get to that. You know, and like if they want to keep it, if like there's, but really, what do you need to do to have abs? All you need to do is measure all your food, at least during the week,
Yeah.
and get like X amount of steps, and you'll have abs.
Pretty much.
What else would you need to do?
And then train.
Yeah, like lift, like you have
3
some muscle, so
to 5
so you
times a
can
week.
get away with more faster metabolism, blah blah.
Yeah.
But that's not that hard.
It's not.
Yeah.
But
like-
again, I think males, we think more logically
Yeah.
than emotionally. We're like more robots,
Yeah.
right? So
But then do they
It's-
value it? Because there's a lot of things that aren't that hard. It's not hard to call 10 leads a day. And there's like, you call 10 leads a day, you'll probably grow your business, right? But a lot of gym owners are like, oh, I'm not gonna call it.
yeah.
I'm like, how many times did you call them? I called them once. I'm like, that's like, you're an idiot.
Yeah.
Don't complain. Like, so like but that's not their value. The difference between the business owner and the guy can choose, like if you've done the business owner, you're probably like a bit more committed. Like you're stuck,
course.
you know, you're forced to do things. But if I told everyone I was going to do some sort of fitness goal, which I have, like I ran marathons. What else did I do? I did a mini triathlon, like it's like an enticer.
Yeah. Yeah.
But like you set a goal and you tell everyone I'm going to do it, no matter what. One day, because I wanted to do like ultras and stuff one day, but then I'm like I really like my muscles, so I don't want to
Don't want to lose it. That's what you
prioritize
value.
that. But when I'm older, I'll probably do it. When I
Yeah.
stop being so freaking vain, I'll go run an ultra. Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, well, definitely, because as we get older, you know, our values, what we prioritize will shift, and training will always be that cornerstone in our life that will always give us structure,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
But yeah, a fitness goal is important, and it's also important with clients, obviously, because just say it's an initial goal, like what I said, just say the guy only needs to lose 10 kilos to play with his kids. All right, so that's he's ran away from pain. There's no pain anymore. So now what he needs to do, he needs to learn enough that he actually wants to do more. So learning that he's actually capable of running a marathon or doing a comp or anything, really. So when they learn enough that they're capable of doing something, that's when you can set the new goal with them. That's when you can set events. And then that's obviously good for you because you're doing great things with the client and they're growing, but it's also like you're going to retain that client. And then it looks good on your resume and all these things. So and you're helping them more. You're showing them so much more their potential rather than like a lot of trainers, like that's a kind of thing at the start, that first thing and they don't set that goal. and then the client's like, oh, I'm done.
Yeah.
You know, or even worse, they go backwards first and then they go, they're done.
Yeah.
At least
Exactly.
at least if they quit, hopefully they stay in that shape, you know?
Yeah.
yeah. So that's the issue.
Yeah, definitely. All right, well, we're gonna now finish off with the question that I like to be able to keep consistent and ask all my guests is, if you could go back in time to earlier Dimitri, right, young Dimitri, that was just starting off their fitness journey, what would be the biggest tip or advice that you would give yourself when just starting out in the gym?
Oh, don't sell the Ethereum, bro.
Okay. It's like, don't
We've got 10 gyms already.
disregard aesthetics, acquire Ethereum.
Yeah, no. What would I say? It's funny though, because if I told myself that thing, would I have grown in the process of figuring, because I didn't figure it out.
Yes.
So maybe I would just say, go through whatever you feel like is difficult to overcome. Just go through it.
Yeah.
Go through it, learn. Failing is part of the process. I think when I used to fail things, I'd get very frustrated.
Yeah.
And like, just take a step back, observe what's happening, and actually be logical with the decisions you make.
Yeah.
I think the problem with people is they don't analyze themselves and their situation.
Yeah.
So like, watch the patterns, make adjustments with like things that are happening not to you, for you, and things that you're doing to yourself. And then when you can make those adjustments, everything is quite easy. Yeah.
Definitely. Well, you heard it here. That's Dimitri. Thank you so much for being on.
Thank you.
And until the next.
Yeah.